Moving from wetlands to peat or turf, as it is more well known, and in more particular peat fires, the monitoring thereof as well as restoration. That's our discussion today with Dr. Mohamed Abd Elbasit, and he's also involved with the Agricultural Research Council. Dr. Mohamed, welcome.
Welcome, thank you very much for having me.
What exactly is peat and what is the importance thereof?
Okay, the peat is partially degraded organic materials. Until now, there's a big debate whether peat can consider it as soil or as a plant or living organism.
And what are the causes of a peat fire?
There is a lot of causes of the peat fire, but the main cause of the peat fire is upsetting of hydrologic condition within the peatland. And that by lowering the groundwater in the peat system, and that causes the dryness in the peat. And then because it's organic material, highly susceptible for fire, so it starts to catch fire. And the origin of the fire could be like wildfire, that fire like a flammable fire, or it can be self-ignition, that the peat itself start burning.
Mm-hmm. And I believe this is your field of expertise, and that is where the monitoring comes in. So how do you monitor?
Yes, monitoring of the peat fire is quite a difficult task. The reason that peat fire is not like open fire or not like flammable fire. It's the type of fire, they call it smoldering fire. So it occurs usually under the ground. So using, for example, like a traditional algorithm to monitor, for example, the open fire or wildfire cannot work for the peat. For that, we need to integrate various measurements in order to assess, for example, the suitability of certain system to the fire as an early warning system, or to identify the areas that's now undergoing some fire incidents. Yes.
And what are the proposed monitoring and the advantages of this monitoring system?
Yes, as a part of WRC Water Research Commission project in collaboration with Water Science, Dr. Alcia Groenling, and also another colleague in the Geoinformation Science, Khalid Abu Talib, and myself, we put a platform to monitor, or proposed platform to monitor the peat fire. At the beginning, we try to use the remote sensing, satellite remote sensing, and integrate this with the drone measurement. We measure, for example, the heat emission using thermal infrared cameras that mounted on a drone, and combine it with a multispectral information to also monitor the plant condition and all this. But with the research, actually, we start to develop more comprehensive system that involve even ground measurements, such as groundwater level or the water table, and integrate also maybe the human reports as well in the system that can help, for example, in more comprehensive monitoring or for the peat system and for the peat fire.
Now, the implementation of this monitoring system, talk to us about that.
Yes, the implementation, there is actually the peat areas or the peat lands is with interest for various departments that include Department of Environmental Affairs, Department of Water and Sanitation, Department of Agriculture. So all these departments can work together in supporting this kind of monitoring platform, and the implementation could be like applied, and that system host, for example, by Water and Sanitation Department or Environmental Affairs, and then start to bring all these data like groundwater data and satellite data and drone data. And by the way, because you cannot use, for example, the drone for the whole country, we made the proposed platform for monitoring that can suit all, for example, all scales. And this is one of the major characteristics of the platform, that it should also consider a scale. For example, in the national scale, we use basically the heat and degradation anomalies. In the field scale or system scale, we use, for example, spatial information, that, for example, satellite as an image. And once the fire is confirmed, then we go for the drone and use the drone to identify the area of no entry, because the beat occur underground and it's very difficult for people to recognize there is a beat actually going underground, and then somebody can trap inside. And there is a lot of incidents before happen, but fortunately it's for cattle. Yeah, because the cattle see the grass on the top and then start walking inside and then trapped inside the beet fire. Yes.
Key contributors to the peatland protection, what are those?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that, because this is very important actually to take the research, like the platform, from the research level to the application level. The key contributor for sure that I mentioned something about them, the Department of Water, the Department of Environment, and the Department of Agriculture. Because with the collaboration of these departments, actually we can implement this platform, the monitoring platform, very well and efficiently to protect the beet and protect also the water resources, because the beet actually one of the good system for saving actually the water, and yeah, from viewpoint of biodiversity as well, it's quite important system.
Is it possible to restore peatland after it's affected by fire?
So restoration, like retaining the beet back, so that's quite difficult. We need thousands of years to have 1 centimeter of beet. So once we lost it due to not only due to the fire, if the beet got like dry, actually it loses a lot of important characteristics. For example, the beet can be considered as a hydrophilic that absorb water. Once it gets dry, it becomes hydrophilic and cannot, hydrophobic and cannot absorb any more water. So for that, we need to protect the peat before the fire or before the dryness. So monitoring the dryness of the peat is very important for the protection. For the restoration, the system is self-correction system. That mean once the peat is like bent, so the elevation of the peat will decrease, then the water will come again on the top, and then we think that the system is recovering. But actually, due to the new elevation that we have it in the system, now we can see the groundwater in the top. But again, with the continuous extraction and decreasing of lowering of the groundwater, what will happen? The groundwater will go down again, dry of the peat, and then it burn again.
Sure.
Yes.
Right. Quite a process.
Yes. Yeah, and then it will be lost forever. We cannot retain it. It needs millions of years to get the peat, and there's a lot of studies actually talking about this, like the timing of the peat formation.
Well, in closing, what are the challenges to protect peatland areas?
Yes, a lot of challenges that actually because the peat is actually competing, for example, with municipal areas, competing with agricultural, competing with, for example, forestation, and all these. So the challenge is that now the water resources in South Africa is quite limited. So to allocate water for the peat, so many people, they don't see it as important as agriculture or as a municipal water use. So the peat water, for example, required water for the peat restoration comes maybe in the second or the third level, for example, in the priority for allocation. And this makes the challenges. So the best thing to do is all these sectors talk together. This is number one. Number two, like we can go through, for example, each system has its own hydrological setups. So we need to go and look, for example, for the recharge areas and try to do more projects on that to reduce, for example, the water loss and have more water available for the peat restoration and other sectors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now I know more about peat fires and peat land and the protection and the monitoring
Thank you.
thereof.
Thank you very much for your, yes, thank you for having me.
That is Dr. Mohamed Abd Elbasit, and he spoke to us about peat.